Hey, my phone's ringing. It's Bree. Hi. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I couldn't answer my phone.
Oh,
My audio's on record, so
okay.
I just got my second cup of coffee. I had to take Gypsy out and go pee. I was just processing in my head though that we had a conversation earlier, and it's like a repeat of history. Again, that church.
Oh,
Yeah, well, that
put it
church
that
in
way.
St. Johnsbury, and then the fact that that church in St. Johnsbury again, the same pastor, a few years later, hands me back the application when I asked for just assistance with $20 worth of propane for my home in Barnet. He asked me if my aunt and uncle were Liz and Rick Knights, and I said yes. He asked me what my religion was, and I told him I'm a Quaker. He passed me back the application across his table and said, "You don't need my help. Go find your family." And that's what generated the first round of lawsuits.
Wow.
Because he denied me $20. I even offered to pay it back. And then at the end of the month, I'm glad that he didn't, because I would have been breaking my word and being the one to look like an ass. Because you see, that's when I found out that they started fucking with my Social Security disability. And that's when I started saying, hey, wait a minute, I have a court-appointed attorney. I have not a court-appointed attorney, but she was a requested attorney, and that's who was appointed through legal aid, Kelly Kazmarki. So she knew all this time what was going on with my case. She had my address and everything for Barnet, and she started turning my mail back to Scott Cassidy in St. Johnsbury. So all my important information from her and Social Security was going to Scott Cassidy. So they ended up, so that was back in 2018 again. And then when I filed lawsuit against Social Security Administration, Commissioner of, is because why? Montpelier, I have the copy of the paperwork right here in my fucking room. Montpelier depleted my medical records. They didn't put in. They wanted me to have another evaluation after I had just had an evaluation in Florida. I came up here with a 2-year protection order. And then when I come up here to North Anson, repeat of history with these fucking churches. You got the Dr. Mann Road down by your dad, that church.
Yeah.
Okay. They have a clothing shop, free clothing. Oh, you know who I seen in there one day? That nasty ass bitch, Julie Ridlin Keaton. Anyways, I'm just saying. I saw her in there and she didn't stay very long, and I never seen her again. But that church there, I had rented the kitchen for a couple months so that I could prepare food. And while I was getting my mobile unit ready to sell food out here and to benefit dinner by donation, bring your plate if you don't have any money, and I'll still give you a donation of food. That's what that means, okay? So that's what, again, I was going to utilize that kitchen, but then these little frivolous bastards in the town of North Anson and surrounding areas started messing with my vehicle, messing with my home, making it impossible for me to go anywhere, destroyed my product. Then they come back. And then they tell me North Anson, contact the North Anson church and ask her about using that kitchen. Well, that bitch, she wants you to wear a mask to go into church. That's a devil's disciple right there. She's an advocate, supervisor for crisis and counseling, that mental health counseling place up here in Maine.
Mm-hmm.
She's a counselor for them, which is working for the devil because she's putting people in mental houses. She's getting them drugged up with psychomedications, and then she's turning around and being a pastor on Sunday. Tell me that's not double standards, devil's advocate. And that's in my hometown. So you don't think for a second that she didn't know that my home got burned? Do you think any of these churches reached out to me when they knew all this was happening back in June when you went missing? I have no use for any of them. None of them.
That's fucked up too, because you were talking so good at them.
Huh?
I said that's kind of fucked up because you were talking highly of them.
Yeah, well, I talked highly of the thrift store too that I took you to. Remember when Janine brought you over from Vermont, the United States postal worker?
Yeah.
And I couldn't even get a fucking comb through your hair when you got out of the hospital. And I took you to that thrift store. And, you know, they were really good to us. But behind our backs, obviously, they were laughing again because, you know, they never helped either. She contacted me and said, oh, what happened? She wanted to get the full story. Frivolous bitch. And that's not just my opinion. That's exactly what happened. And then I got people still following me out here. All these people, and they live right beside churches. I think these pastors, self-proclaimed pastors, ought to start praying for the people that are out here doing wrong. Like, who stole our chickens? Who were they to say that I didn't live there? Even all the church organizations that are out here are conspiring into this because they all know that I lived there. They all knew that you were missing. They all follow me. And what about the people that were at my house? They put a condemnation notice on my door, right? How could they condemn the home when it wasn't condemnable? It was only 11 years old. And Gordon Obert, being one of the firemen that has a vendetta against me because I came clean about what he did to you and then put you on a bus, okay? They don't like that. So he was more than happy to be involved in burning my house. But you see, he's the one that did the work with me on the inside of the home. So if it was condemnable, why didn't he, as a mandated reporter, knowing that I have a disability, why didn't he say something to try to get me some help instead of try to hurt me? Because he's got evilness in him. He preys on vulnerable women, and he knows that I'm a little bit smarter than that. So he was mad, and he's the one that sent a fucking video to his daughter-in-law that he claims he can't stand to let me know. Heather Betts sent to me the video of my house being on fire. Tell me that wasn't vindictive and a hate crime?
Are we on the record?
Huh?
Are we on the record?
Yep.
Okay, I won't say anything then.
You don't have to say a damn thing, but that's exactly what happened.
No, I know. I'm not doubting anything you're saying. It's just I wanted to say something.
No, and I'm going to turn it off so you're not on record.